Hey guys, it's Shawzo here, and this is Murkwater construction site. And I've turned it into a living space for the children of Atom, as I thought it was a good spot as it's in a swampy area with lots of radiation. Now most people would say this is the worst settlement in Fallout 4, and I can see why. The place is a complete mess, and it did take me a while to figure out a plan, but I'm so happy with the outcome. And of course I'm going to show you how I built the place in this video, with a nice finished tour by the end. Enjoy! So I think I'm just going to jump to the main problem, and that's the broken house. And I feel like we can bring it back to its former glory, using the broken bits as a foundation. And of course we're going to be fixing it up with warehouse walls because they're tall enough to do the job. And we're going to start with 3 of them, with the middle one being a door frame. And we're going to place it in between the 2 black posts either side on the corner. Also making sure the wood on the house is sticking out in front of our walls that we're placing down, just so it looks like it's all blending in nicely. And with that in place, you can clearly see it's nice and straight going to each post on the corner. And now it's time to move into the house, because we're going to start putting some floors down now, starting with these half ones from the warehouse set. And then we want to carry on with the big ones going across this way. And now it's time to move to the back of the property, and I've already got 3 walls ready to go. And it's the same process again, keeping the walls in between the 2 black posts. But this time we've got the floors as a marker point to keep it the same height as the other walls that we've just put down. This will keep it all nice and snug within the existing house, and as you can see the wooden pallets bleed out this side as well, which is what you want. So with the main foundation finished, everything else should come together nicely. But before we get into that, we need to do the sides, and I'm going to have to freestyle it for this one. Of course using our trusty pillar glitch again. Very pleased with how that's all turned out, and of course I've used the same walls throughout as I feel like it goes well with the old house. So now it's time to move on top of the property, and I'm going to start putting some half walls on the front here, and I'm also going to put some rooftops as well. The reason why I'm starting it off this way is because I want to avoid it looking a bit too boxy, and this is the best method I can think of doing really. Overall this house is an awkward size, so I'm having to merge some stuff here and there, which you'll see in a minute. But once we get these corners in, we can now go on to the back, and we're just going to go with the basic flat walls, mixing it up a bit with a couple of warehouse, and I might even throw a barn one in there as well. And luckily we can put a floor piece above connecting our walls to the rooftop. This will leave a teeny tiny gap in between them, but I will eventually fix that up with rugs a bit later. Luckily I can put the warehouse half walls in, and I'm going to fix up the rest using a pillar glitch. Now I want to bring our attention to the porch area, and this one's been quite difficult to figure out, and I've narrowed it down to the scaffolding set because this particular frame fits perfectly within it. And with that frame in place, we can now put a floor piece that acts as a rooftop. I couldn't figure out any kind of roofing method for this one, and this is the best I can think of. But it comes with a few bonuses. We can put a ladder to the side here going all the way down. And I might as well turn it into like a little security post, because I can put barricades down as well. And I'm really happy with how that porch looks, goes very well with the rest of the build. And that's the front completely finished. But I'm not liking how the back looks. It looks very bland and it looks like a bit of a cut off. So I want to do something quite interesting with this side. So what I'm going to do is open up where I put the barn wall, and we're going to put a door frame in there. As well as that, we're going to put the half floorboards on top. These should snap on very nicely. And I want to do the same thing below, but unfortunately I can't place them onto these walls. But I did find out you can place a floorboard to the side here, and this will make everything possible without using the pillar glitch. As you can see, it just snaps across nicely. And what I'm going to do is double it up either side, keeping one piece in front of the door frame. I'm going to go for a balcony kind of look, as well as some shelter here and there. And we'll just delete the platforms going around the side. Of course our new shelter needs a bit of support, so we're going to put a couple of beams up here. As well as that, I'm going to put some staircases in the middle, and because it's a hostile area I'm going to put some barricades up, because you don't want it all open on the back porch. You need some kind of defense. So I'm going to place them all the way around, fit in any kind of space I can, and I'm going to finish it up with some walls. With that finished, I've utilised the space underneath, turning it into a storage area, and overall that is the house finished. Really pleased with the outcome. But now it's time to move on to where this wooden frame is, along with the construction equipment around it. And we want to finish what was started here, and I definitely want to make use of the existing objects around this little area. So let's get into it. I'm going to be using the scaffolding set and I'm going to be using the ramps. And if we put it in this position, it should sit in here very nicely. And once that's in place, it should build over to the other side, fixing up the first piece of the rooftop. And to carry on our work, we need to put some floor pieces to the side here. This will allow us to carry on the ramps going to the side of it. Of course, I'm going to change a couple of them up just to give it some character. But it all comes together very nicely. It's as simple as that. I would say this is the easiest rooftop fix I've ever done. It literally took us a few seconds to do this. But now it's time to move on to the bottom half, and we want to fix up some walls here and there. And I definitely want to go for that shack outdoor kind of workshop look. So I'm going to go with the same walls throughout, and these particular ones are perfect for it in my opinion. And I'm going to go ahead and just fill in any kind of gap I can see. Of course, I want to keep the vehicle right next door to it, and I do want to do something cool, so I'm going to do a couple of platforms with the pillar glitch. And you can probably guess at this point, yes, they do fit perfectly within this vehicle, and this will be great for some turrets, a defense post, maybe some barriers here and there. It's just a really nice addition with the existing car. And overall, that's our little shack finished. Really pleased with how it looks. I definitely picked the right walls for this little build, as it goes really well with it. Now of course I have a cool idea what I'm going to do with the construction machinery there, but I'm going to let you guys find out what that is in the decorations later. So the next task to do is some defense, maybe some more outbuildings here and there, but unfortunately we can't do that yet as the sun is going down now and we need to find a place to survive for the night. And of course we're going to use the house that we've just fixed up, so we might as well go inside, and I have done a couple of things in here already which I'll show you. We definitely need to shut these doors as we don't know what's lurking here during the night. As you can see, I've put down some new floors as well as a staircase to go up. Now it's time to try and get some sleep, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I didn't expect that many Mirelurks, but I'm so glad that's over. The first thing I'm going to do in the morning is put some walls up, so I'll see you guys then. It's the next morning and of course the walls are up, and I'm going to show you exactly how I've done them and where I've placed them. So let's have a look at the back corner, and what I've done is build along the green line of which the building limit is. As you can see, it's a perfect kind of 90-degree angle. And as we look on the other side, I've built a wall going around where the water stops because I definitely wanted to keep this feature within the settlement. And I have some really cool ideas with what I'm going to do with this in the decorations. So now it's time to move on to the front, and I want to do something with this natural path in here. I want to give it some purpose. So what I'm going to do is put these barricades down with the pillar glitch, and we're just going to separate the grass with the bald patches. And this should give us a nice dedicated pathway leading up to the properties. And I always use the same barricade for this, as I feel like this particular one is best suited for it. I'm going to finish this off and I'll see you guys in a second. And what a massive difference that makes. It's definitely given this area purpose and it looks a lot more inviting. The place is definitely starting to look like a settlement. So now it's time to move on to this water feature, and it's looking a bit empty and I do want to do something with it. So I'm going to start off deleting a few trees, not all of them. I definitely want to keep one here and there. And the reason being is I want to do some kind of tree house. And I think these boxcars are the perfect match for that. So I've got the pillar and a staircase just to get it up there a bit more. And if we twist this in a certain way, this should fit nicely onto these trees together. It's just all about finding that sweet spot. and once you get them as close as possible, it should all fit in place very nicely. And with that all secure, we can put some staircases down. For some reason these two don't snap together, but they sink into the ground nicely, that's no problem. And we're going to put some shack bridges down because of course we don't want to be walking into the water up into the treehouse, so these are the perfect objects for it really. And they build nicely going into the ground here as well. And I'll just show you how close these trees are to our box car, and as you can see it's made to fit, really looks realistic within this little area. And I just love how that walkway goes across the water into our new treehouse. And with that finished, it's time to add some things here and there. So I've already put a shelter in this corner, maybe for some storage or some interesting things, you'll find out a bit later. I've also done a shelter along this side as well, just filling in any kind of empty spaces where the grassy areas are. I've also put a big platform here ready for a new turret, so both sides of the settlement is sorted for security. And that concludes the whole build. I'm very surprised that I've made something out of this complete mess. Really happy with how it's all come together, and it looks like a proper settlement. And my opinion on the place has changed whilst building it because it clearly has a lot of potential. So the plan is, myself and the Minutemen have made a peace deal with the Children of Atom, giving them a sanctuary so they won't affect any of our operations or cause any trouble within our communities. And it's the perfect location for them really, because who else would want to live in a radiated swamp area besides these people? We are now going to decorate the place and I'll see you in the tour. After many hours of work, it is fully decorated, and of course it's a Children of Atom themed settlement, so there's loads of interesting things in this place. As always, let's have a little walk around and look at it in proper detail. Hey, what's up guys, welcome to the tour. And this is a faction that I've not kind of dived into before. I've either done Minutemen builds or Brotherhood of Steel, or I've even done some Raider builds as well, so this is it's an interesting one. It's made me do things that I haven't really done before. I've done like little ritual areas. There's loads of these weird bottles everywhere just to give it an overall kind of spooky kind of feel to it. And what I've done with this front area is more of like a communal area for them. So there's a cooking station which fit perfect in this little space. And there's a barbecue, a couple of chairs. I didn't want to put anything in the middle because I wanted some of the settlement to look a bit clear because there's a bit too much going on, you know. So this kind of clear spot, it's a bit darker than the rest, but there's still like no grass there, so I thought I might as well open that up as well. So I've turned this into a little kind of garden plot, just nothing major. I've even put some pillars on the potato plants just to give it a bit more of a reinforced look, you know. I've got loads of these glowing ghouls everywhere. This is like their storage bin where they like to keep kind of radiated flesh, which they like to eat because obviously the Children of Atom like that kind of stuff. And I put a couple of fire pits next to it, and it really looks like a proper like shrine of whatever they put in there. And as you can see, the surrounding areas is really grassy, and I'm so glad that there was this little area of which you can open up. Cool little turret there. I've even put some boxes in the areas of which you don't really see, to be honest. We'll look at the house last, I reckon. We'll just go through here, through into the water. As you can see, clearly the Children of Atom. And I've turned this into what it is, basically. It's like a little workshop. Of course, they like to spend into their defense a little bit, so they've got like a proper kind of frosty-looking power armor. I've made it look like the radiation has kind of reacted to the metal. I felt like that was the best paint job for this kind of faction. And I've added quite a bit. There's a table that was already here with a bit of wood. Obviously do not delete that because you can't do that yourself. Nice little addition to this little room. I've squeezed in a sofa with a couple of chairs. And as we make our way out here, I've made this little water part there kind of a ritual. They like to swim in it, bath in it, chill in it, because obviously it's like radiated, and they cleanse themselves with the radiation because they're just weirdos like that, you know. To the left is just a little chair with some stuff on the tables. I've never left a space empty. There's always something in areas, like little details. And what I've done with this forklift is I've made it look like we're drawing power from it, and I've managed to glitch through with the pillar glitch the generator into the forklift, and it works pretty well with that narrative. I've even put a couple of computers next to it, I've managed to put a box on top of the forklift, of which the conduits can kind of like connect to the buildings underneath and all that. How else would you get power in this area? I thought that was the best idea for that, really. And I've even put a cloth overhead just to keep it all nice and dry, the best it can anyway. And as we make our way to this corner, I've put loads of mut fruit and some water generators. And yes, I know it's pronounced mute fruit, but I say mut fruit because I like to annoy certain individuals with it. I always get comments saying, "No, it's pronounced mute fruit," but I like calling it mut fruit, so I'm going to call it mut fruit, you know. Sounds better in my opinion. Behind me is the treehouse. Really, really happy with how I've decorated this. And the walkway, I've put loads of candles. Proper ritual kind of look to it. And yeah, we might as well go up and have a little butcher's. I've even put candles on the stairs. I was quite lucky that I was able to do that. And this is where they watch over, basically. It is what it says on the tin. They've got a little desk. They've got a minigun ready to go. A little kind of watching post. I couldn't fit one of these defence barriers here, so it's just a platform with a chair, a couple of barriers. And yeah, it does do good for security in my opinion. And as we make our way back down, I've had to put these stairs onto this kind of walkway because they struggle to walk over, so that's kind of fixed that for them. More of these glowing ghouls. I've just scattered them everywhere in these bins. I've even put fire pits in there with them. And as we go through this grassy area, this is their like weird ritual place. I put loads of chairs here looking directly into this kind of... So what I've basically done is put a mannequin up and put one of these, I think it's a Murkwater queen, into its head. So it looks like they want to become one of these kind of sea creatures that have been mutated with radiation. And they're kind of like, they want to be one of them basically. I put another glowing ghoul underneath with loads of flowers. I've done the best I could to make it as creepy as possible, and it does. It fits the narrative I want. I wouldn't want to come here, to be honest. Loads of candles everywhere. This is where they kind of get undressed and kind of bathe into the water. Of course, I wanted to leave a gap for the water to flow through, otherwise that wouldn't be realistic. So, yeah, that's the gap for that. And round here, as we come past the house, it's really grassy here, so you can't really put much in the middle, to be honest. But with this corner, I've done as much as I could. So I've made these kind of mutant cages. So they're obviously using them as pets. They're trying to put them on their side so they don't attack them, so they can live with them and eat them at the same time, you know. So we've already caught one. There's a little kind of cage in here as well. And there's something even more horrifying in here that they do. So I know it's a bit grassy, but I've tried to fit what I could in here. We've got a little scavengers bit here where they're fixing up the cage. There's loads of radiated blood. A couple of weird figures here. And to my left is the pure radiation system. This is where they kind of stick their head in the Murkwater Queen's kind of body. And they think that will just cleanse their brain with whatever bad demons they've got. I don't know. It's just a weird kind of radiation machine that I've made. And it's, yeah. I am a little bit concerned of what my imagination comes up with, to be honest. So as we come round here, there's always stuff in empty areas. There's never an empty spot in this settlement. Like even down here, like I didn't have to put this stuff here, but I just thought needed it, you know. In this shelter, it's basically loads of storage. So obviously the place needs ammunition, guns, ingredients. This is that area. It's also a little chill area as well. Why not? A couple of bits of fish as well. And yeah, we might as well have a look at the house. We'll go back round to the front actually. Now obviously this is the best part of the build. Secondary to the little ritual area. To the left, I've managed to do like a little statue with another kind of mutant as a head. There's a lot of that round here. And, before we actually go inside, let's show you the little security post. Nothing much. It is what you would expect. He's just chilling. So let's go inside. This little porch area is interesting. I've managed to glitch through these kind of rubber mats just to give it a bit more of a clean look. I know there's rubble, but there's nothing you can do with that with no mods. I've squeezed what I could in here, so let's make our way through. Another little ritual thing. This is their living area, basically. This is what they kind of cram into, sleep in. Got a big jukebox there, a little cooking station. And because it was underneath the stairs, it made it very hard to glitch through this cooking station in the drawers. But I managed to find that sweet spot with the fire pit. It took me a little while, actually. Again, another thing in here with loads of flowers, candles. And round to the right is their bedroom. Well, one of their bedrooms. Not too mad on the decorations. I've made it just look nice for their kind of style. Yeah, nothing really more to it. Nice little cozy room. Let's make our way upstairs. Now, I had to be smart with the upstairs. I have walled in a few bits and pieces. And I've really I feel like I've made a good job with their own kind of areas. So this is like the chill area with the sofas. That's where I'll have a bite to eat, maybe a couple of cigars. Around here, this is their kind of bottle making area because they're dotted around everywhere, even on the rooftops as well. This is where they kind of make them up. To the left, I've put a toilet. Surprisingly, it's a clean toilet. And I've even glitched through a chair into the toilet. One of you suggested that in the comments, and I completely forgot about that little trick. So, yeah, you can actually sit on the sofa, which is pretty cool. Back here is a really tight squeeze. I just put boxes. What else can you put in there, to be honest? And behind here is, of course, another bedroom. And yeah, another 2 beds. And I know there's like a massive hole above them. So I've kind of, I kind of wanted to keep the hole because I wanted to make it look a little bit decayed, a little bit kind of, it's been put together with materials. So I put my own narrative in this area. They kind of like the fact that they're being rained on. So it's like a little another cleansing area. So radiation is love, radiation is life, pure. I just put some weird text up. And yeah, they like being rained on in their sleep. And another little chair area. And that is it, basically. That is the house finished. And out here is what you would expect, just a couple of defence posts. It's more of a chill area as well. And I didn't really need to bother with turrets on this side because you can watch over the whole area. And yeah, it's basically the same on the other side, but in different kind of arrangements. Yeah, that is the tour finished. Really enjoyed this one. As always, you guys wanted me to do a settlement, of which intimidates me a lot. I'm glad I'm getting these hard settlements done. It does really kind of challenge me to really think about what I'm doing, and I'm really pleased with the outcome of this one. Anyways, as promised, as always, I'll always do some night shots in a second. I just want to thank you very much for watching this build and the tour, and as always, I really appreciate your support. Now time for some night shots. Here it is at night time, and this is actually the first time I've not used any electrical lights mostly. It's purely just candles everywhere, so it's very hidden within the swamp. But at the same time, having a mellow glow to it, it really does add to the kind of atmosphere to the area. And as I mentioned earlier, you can even see the glowing bottles on the rooftop there, gives it a really cool look. And diving into the settlement, these glowing ghouls do a really cool effect when they kind of lay there. And it definitely adds to this shrine that I've made. Of course, that's lit up with candles everywhere. I've made that look like that's the main kind of spot for the night time. And overall, I'm very happy with the water area. It's all lit up in the right places. Now, I've lit up the generator area with electrical lights because, of course, that makes a lot more sense. And with this area, really liking how it looks with the fire pits and the glowing ghouls. And they sit really nicely within the trolleys that I've scattered around the settlement. This little corner building looks very kind of intimidating. I wouldn't want to go in there personally. And let's have a quick look inside the buildings. I really love how cozy it looks with the mixture of lanterns and candles everywhere. And on the bottom floor, of course, that shrine is very much lit up. Really loving how that looks. And also, I forgot to show you the storage area underneath the staircase. And I actually turned it into another workshop. And this is where they fix up their weapons and make up some ammunition. That's the end of the video now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.